Earth's history is a saga of survival, evolution, and catastrophe. Over billions of years, life has faced moments so devastating that entire ecosystems collapsed. These are the mass extinctions, game changers that reshaped life as we know it. Today we're diving into the Big Five Mass Extinctions, exploring their causes and how they sculpted the tree of life. Let's travel back in time to uncover what caused these cataclysms and how life bounced back. Our story begins 445 million years ago in the Ordovician period, a world of shallow, warm seas teeming with trilobites, nautiloids, and bizarre reefs. Life flourished in a stable oceanic paradise, but change was coming. The supercontinent Gondwana drifted over the South Pole, triggering a global freeze. Ice sheets grew, sea levels plummeted, and the warm, shallow seas shrank, destroying habitats. The first extinction pulse struck. Over half of all marine genera vanished as food webs unraveled. The oceans fell eerily silent. But the crisis wasn't over. As the ice melted, sea levels rose rapidly, flooding the land with oxygen-poor water. This second pulse created vast anoxic zones, deadly for marine life. The Ordovician-Silurian extinction ultimately wiped out 85% of marine species. The dominant trilobites and graptolites were decimated. Yet, in the aftermath, survivors like early jawless fish found new opportunities. With competition gone, they diversified, setting the stage for the rise of vertebrates. Jawed fish emerged, revolutionizing the seas. The Great Freeze was a tragedy, but it cleared the way for new evolutionary paths. Life's resilience shone through and the evolutionary tree was forever altered. The world had been reset, and the path of evolution was forever changed by this ancient global winter. The survivors would shape the next chapter of life on Earth. From icy devastation, a new era began. The story of life is one of adaptation and renewal. The Ordovician-Silurian extinction was just the beginning. The stage was set for even greater evolutionary leaps. The world would never be the same. The first mass extinction had rewritten the rules. Life would continue to evolve, adapt, and survive. The journey through Earth's mass extinctions had only just begun. The next catastrophe was already on the horizon. Evolution's story was far from over. 75 million years later, the late Devonian period dawned, the age of fishes. Oceans teemed with armored placoderms and early sharks, while lush forests transformed the land. These forests broke down rock, releasing nutrients into the seas. The result? Massive algal blooms that consumed oceanic oxygen. Vast stretches of the deep ocean became anoxic, dead zones where life suffocated. The Kellwasser event struck, collapsing the Great Devonian reefs and wiping out 75% of species. Placoderms like Dunkleosteus vanished forever. Trilobites, already battered, dwindled to a handful of species. The extinction was a slow, grinding crisis, not a single cataclysm. Volcanism and climate change may have worsened the disaster. Over 20 million years, life was relentlessly squeezed from the oceans. But the crisis forced innovation. Lobe-finned fish, struggling in dying waters, began venturing onto land. Creatures like Tiktaalik bridged the gap between fish and tetrapods. The suffocating seas pushed vertebrates to conquer the continents. This extinction didn't just clear the way for new life, it forced it into new realms. The conquest of land accelerated, and the evolutionary story took a bold new turn. The Devonian extinction was a crucible for change. Life adapted, survived, and diversified. The oceans would recover, but the land would never be the same. The stage was set for the rise of amphibians and eventually, all land vertebrates. The suffocating seas had rewritten the rules of survival. Evolution thrives on crisis. The Devonian extinction proved that adversity breeds innovation. The journey of life continued, shaped by catastrophe. The next mass extinction would be even more devastating. The story of survival pressed on. 252 million years ago, Earth faced its darkest hour, the Great Dying. The Permian world was diverse, with synapsids ruling the land and vibrant reefs in the seas. But beneath Siberia, a cataclysm brewed. The Siberian traps erupted, spewing lava and toxic gases for a million years. Trillions of tons of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide triggered runaway greenhouse warming. Oceans warmed, lost oxygen, and turned acidic. Shells dissolved, reefs collapsed. On land, acid rain and heat devastated forests, stripping continents bare. Ecosystems collapsed from the ground up. Up to 96% of marine species and 70% of terrestrial vertebrates vanished. Trilobites, ancient survivors, disappeared forever. The world was left desolate, dominated by a few hardy opportunists like Lystrosaurus. For millions of years, Earth was a disaster zone, but this near-total reset created a vacuum. The dominant synapsids were gone, opening the door for archosaurs, ancestors of crocodiles, pterosaurs, and dinosaurs. The Great Dying was a brutal filter, sparing only the smallest, most adaptable, or luckiest. Yet it paved the way for the Mesozoic era, the age of reptiles. From the ashes, dinosaurs would rise to dominate the planet. The Permian extinction was the ultimate test of life's resilience. Catastrophe cleared the slate for new evolutionary experiments. The world would never be the same. The survivors would shape the next era. The Great Dying was both an end and a beginning. Life's story is one of renewal after devastation. The next chapter would belong to the dinosaurs. Evolution's greatest dynasty was about to begin. The planet was ready for a new reign. The age of dinosaurs was on the horizon. After the Great Dying, life slowly recovered in the Triassic period, a time of evolutionary experimentation. The supercontinent Pangaea was hot and dry, with reptiles vying for dominance. Early mammals emerged, small and nocturnal, while ichthyosaurs hunted the seas. On land, archosaurs diversified, including the first dinosaurs, small, bipedal, and unremarkable at first. But Earth's turmoil wasn't over. Around 201 million years ago, Pangaea began to split, unleashing massive volcanic eruptions. The Central Atlantic Magmatic Province. Greenhouse gases triggered global warming, ocean acidification, and anoxia. The Triassic-Jurassic extinction struck swiftly, wiping out 80% of species. Dominant groups like phytosaurs and giant amphibians vanished, but dinosaurs survived, possibly thanks to efficient lungs or warm-blooded metabolisms. With competitors gone, dinosaurs seized the empty world. In the Jurassic, they exploded in diversity and size. Herbivores grew gigantic, carnivores became apex predators. Dinosaurs filled every terrestrial niche, launching the age of dinosaurs. Catastrophe had cleared the board for their reign. The world was theirs for the taking. The Jurassic and Cretaceous would be defined by their dominance. Evolution's greatest dynasty had begun. The Triassic-Jurassic extinction was the dinosaurs' golden ticket. The planet was transformed by disaster. The age of dinosaurs was in full swing. But even the mightiest would one day fall. The next extinction would end their reign. The story of life is always changing. For 150 million years, dinosaurs ruled every continent, from towering sauropods to nimble raptors. But 66 million years ago, an asteroid at least 10 kilometers wide hurtled toward Earth. The impact in what's now the Yucatan Peninsula unleashed the force of billions of atomic bombs. A fireball incinerated everything for thousands of kilometers. Mega tsunamis scoured coastlines, and the sky rained molten debris. Global wildfires raged, and a thick shroud of dust blocked the sun, plunging Earth into a freezing impact winter. Photosynthesis ceased, food chains collapsed, and mass starvation followed. 75% of all species vanished. All non-avian dinosaurs and pterosaurs disappeared. Marine reptiles and ammonites were wiped out. The age of reptiles ended in a geological instant. Yet some survived: fish, sharks, crocodiles, turtles, insects, amphibians, and crucially, birds and mammals. Our mammalian ancestors, small and burrowing, endured the chaos. With the giants gone, mammals seized new opportunities. The Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction was the ultimate game-changer. Mammals diversified, filled vacant niches, and evolved into predators, herbivores, and even flyers. One branch, primates, would eventually give rise to us. Our existence is a direct result of that terrible day the sky fell. Catastrophe ended one dynasty and launched another. Life's resilience triumphed once again. The world was forever changed. The story of life continued, shaped by disaster. The age of mammals had begun. Evolution's next chapter was underway. The legacy of the dinosaurs lived on in birds. The planet was ready for new rulers. The journey of life pressed forward. Mass extinction had rewritten the rules once more. The future belonged to the survivors. What did the Big Five teach us? Mass extinctions are brutal, but they're catalysts for change. Each one wiped out dominant species, giving underdogs a chance to rise. Without these events, dinosaurs and humans might never have existed. Evolution thrives on chaos. These cataclysms are violent beginnings, not just endings. Over 99% of all species that ever lived are extinct, yet life persists, adapts, and evolves. We are part of that story, shaped by the Big Five. The story of our planet is one of immense loss and incredible renewal. From great freezes to fiery impacts, life has always bounced back, often in more complex forms. We are the legacy of survivors, the children of catastrophe. Understanding these ancient apocalypses gives us perspective on our own place in Earth's epic story. Thanks for joining this journey. Like, subscribe, and share which extinction shocked you most.